Hi all, in this video I'm super excited to show to you how Microsoft Copilot is working. So we wanted to give it a real test, not just a marketing test, but a real life enterprise test. So we looked at Copilot, 10 people from our company used Copilot for 1 full month, and we tested everything, every single use case. We looked at the marketing video from Microsoft and did all these cases, but we also added many other use cases that we know from our extensive experience with enterprise clients, what would be really valuable when talking about AI in Microsoft 365. So what you will see in this video is that we go through all the 5 major Office apps, so PowerPoint, Excel, Word, Outlook, and Teams, and always check out how does Copilot help you with the most important use cases, what works really well and what doesn't work well yet, maybe. And so you can make your own conclusion whether it's a great time now to buy Microsoft Copilot licenses or maybe wait a little bit. So that's of course depending on your needs. And what we have to say is this test was done with the first officially available version of Copilot that was released in November 2023. So we all know there will be updates coming soon, so things might change over time when you look at that video, but that was the basis for our test. So let's look at the Copilot in PowerPoint first. First prompt, create a new presentation based on a specific topic. So that should be easy, right? So let's see how that works. So we open up Copilot. It's like a chat window that you can see here. So our prompt is create a presentation about carbon neutrality. So we want to get some internet research into a presentation, and that's like where we all know ChatGPT is really great at, which is the foundation of Microsoft Copilot. So you see, it takes a little while. We did not fast forward in this video that you get a feeling for the speed. And here we go. We have a nice presentation with 5 slides based on a standard template, and I think that's a pretty cool result, right? So we see here what is it, what are the key challenges, some good examples and a conclusion. So I think that is a really great starting point for my presentation if I want to talk about carbon neutrality, for example. Now, for example, in this case, I would say, well, the image is not my style. Let's change this image, please. And we just ask for a new idea. And again, it's shortly working. And here we go. Oh, I like that more. Kind of a plan that fits to the topic. So I'm happy with that result. So you see, that was a really cool case where you can get a good starting point. And maybe we want to insert a slide with additional resources. So that's what we put into the prompt here. And let's see what happens. Copilot is working, gets probably some more data from like ChatGPT engine. And here we go. A new slide has been added with additional resources where I can have a look if I'm interested in a topic. So that was pretty impressive. Let's go to the next one. Translate a slide into another language. I would say that's like, should be easy peasy because in ChatGPT, that's fantastic. So translate the slide into Spanish. Again, we have to wait a little bit and let's see what happens. Let's see the result. Almost there. And here we are. So that's a problem. So what happened is it translated the body text, probably a good translation, but it added the text into the title as well as into the body, and it took the same text. So it didn't translate the title and put it in there and the body text, but it used the body text and put it in all text boxes. We've tried that multiple times and it's always the same problem. So you cannot translate a slide unless there's only one text box on it, which I think is a pity because that's a base case. That's actually something that works really easy with ChatGPT. So hopefully something they will fix soon. But anyway, that's a test. So let's see how the next one goes. So ensuring brand consistency in a presentation. That's a topic that most of our clients are really interested in, larger enterprises, that there is some sort of consistency and brand consistency in a presentation. And we thought, hey, that should be something we can do with Copilot. Because we can give some commands in that sense. So you see here we've created a presentation where we changed the font type, and you see it's a weird font type, so it's not the Segui UI that we want to use. So you see that here in the example. So really it's off brand. So let's try and fix that by creating a prompt that is specific enough to do that. So change the font type in all titles to Sego UI semi-bold, and all body font on all slides to Sego UI. That's a very clear instruction. You see the prompt gets longer, but it should be doable. So let's see what happens. Hey, here the title changed, that's cool, but the other text did not change, which is not perfect. Let's see on the other slides what happened, because it tells me everything worked. So this one looks good. Here, the normal text was not changed, unfortunately. Same here, the title was changed, but not the normal body text. So yeah, that's a quick check. So that was correct, semi-bold, as we told Copilot. Let's have a look at a few more slides. So you see here, did not change it. Here it worked. That's all good. So it seems, and that's something that we saw a few times, it's a bit random, because some slides were done perfectly, but here not. So here it forgot the main headline to change, which is weird. So yeah, I would say it's not reliable, and you really have to go through everything. So it's not really a big help right now. It does not. I mean, of course, you cannot ensure brand consistency right now with it, but also using the prompts and building. So we thought we can build a large prompt with all the rules from our corporate design and feed Copilot, and it will do the job for us, but that's not the case. So for the time being, it's not helping to ensure brand consistency. But anyway, let's move on. So one more use case that we see quite often in PowerPoint is searching for slides, for specific slide from another file, or just in general looking for existing content that one can reuse. So we thought we'd try that, because we saw something similar also in the video from Microsoft. So we open up Copilot, and we've prepared something. So please include a new slide from a reference customer. And we even told Copilot where this presentation lies, which is a lot of help, I have to say. But you see, the result says, I can't find it. So I can't do that for you. So really going, if you say, I want to look for a specific slide from, I mean, theoretically, Copilot has access to the entire graph, so to all the files that you have access to. But in that case, even a very specific instruction did not work. So nothing you can leverage right now when you're thinking about Copilot. So I think in general, if we conclude on PowerPoint, I mean, again, we did so many more tests, but in this video, it should just give you an overview of what's possible. You can say in PowerPoint, the support is really limited. If you want to create a presentation, like a random presentation about a specific topic where you need some internet research, for example, a student or so would be great to create a few slides about a specific topic, then it's an amazing starting point, right? It's the first use case I showed. But improving slides, we tried a lot about realigning elements or redesigning. Designing does not work. It always refers to the designer functionality from PowerPoint, which is not really helpful, to be honest. So in PowerPoint, the Copilot support is really very basic, and yeah, it really doesn't feel like that was the focus of the first Copilot version. So let's move on. Let's talk about Excel, analyzing data and gather insights. So it's a big topic. So what we've done here, so we've created like real life tables. So we say highlight the highest value in total invoice. So that's a cool one. So I have a huge data table, and you just want to find out what is the highest one. And now it tells me, well, I've done that. I applied a fill color to the highest one. You see here, that was the highest one. So that was a real, that was the right answer, and it applied a formatting for me. So now I want to say I want to bold the top 10 values on ProRata. Again, that's something that Copilot can do for you very quickly. So you can find like the top ones. You can sort. You can all do that stuff. That also worked. Very important to note. Always requires Copilot and Excel always requires to have a table, like a table element. It cannot work without it. So here I say show only non-project values again. So that was really a good starting point, and it was very promising, I would say, that you can do basic analysis, basic filtering, very intuitively. If you're not, of course, if you're an Excel geek, you will probably do that still with a few clicks. But if you're not that big expert, I think that's a quite nice helper. The second use case was aggregating data. So what we've done here, so again, we have a table, and we want to look at it and say, okay, we want to see some highlights or insights about data. And these insights, you see the result is shown on the right-hand side from Copilot in the chat window. So it tells you, okay, here are the highlights, and now you can say, I want to insert that content on a new sheet. And this is what it does here. And I found that quite nice. If you do some analysis and you want to find some insights, it shows you different things that you can find in your data. So that is pretty interesting. It shows you all the data below it. So it's really a nice way of getting a first impression of your specific data, and then see whether you got a new insights through that functionality. I mean, one has to say that if you are an analytical person and you're an expert in Excel, you probably know what to look for. You probably know what kind of analysis you want to do, right? In these cases, I guess working with a prompt and getting some other insights or other information is probably quite often not very helpful. But if you are really open and just want to see, okay, what kind of insights might Copilot find for me, then it's actually working nicely. Okay, so now that was a promising start, I would say, but now, of course, we dig deeper, and a good investment banking friend of mine gave us quite some typical investment banking input and some complex models to work with. And we did many use cases. And I have to tell you, of course, all the complex models and the complex use cases were not be able to solve with Copilot, but I want to show you something here, working with more complex Excel models. So here, in that specific case, we have a valuation model, and first we had to prepare that it works. And so we created an Excel table, which was not there yet, but anyway. So here we want to do some more advanced analysis. So here you see in that video how we actually converted the table first. And now we want to have a graphical overview of the most important figures. So that was something where we thought, okay, that could be helpful. So here we see it was, some basics about the countries, which is okay with the multiples. Then we continued, so we added this graphic to a sheet. But that was like the starting point. Now we wanted to go further and say, okay, now we wanted to know what a valuation range would be for a comparable company. So that was really interesting. And here you see the answer. Sorry, I don't have a helpful answer. And now, it wants to, the next question was explain how can multiples be best explained given the operational statistics. And you see here, we just got the same result, which was not, really helping us. And then we said create statistics for specific KPIs. And of course, this is something, very challenging, but it didn't find those matches. So it was not able to calculate specific KPIs unless it's already calculated in the Excel spreadsheet. Which was a tough one, to be very fair and honest. But of course, if you think about AI and think about AI will solve everything and will know everything, you see it's still a way to go to get this contextual information. But anyway, I would conclude for Excel, if you are a real expert, if you are the investment banking type of person and you know your Excel and you are super good with shortcuts and keyboard keys, you will not need Copilot. If you are more like a beginner or not an expert kind of person, not working on a daily basis with Excel, I think sometimes it can be quite helpful. It's really like a nice assistant for your work and can sometimes give you insights and be helpful when you want to do a quick analysis on the data. All right, so let's continue with Word. Words and of course Outlook and Teams, we expected to find even more useful stuff because it's really about text. And as we know, ChatGPT is the foundation of Microsoft Copilot, and we all know how cool it is to work with ChatGPT when working with large text or with text at all. So let's start with one that was also presented in the Microsoft advertising video. Create a Word document based on a specific presentation. So, and we like that one. So we said, here this is our presentation. That was the basis. And now we go to Word. And inside Word, we have a template that we want to use. So we go on this here and say, we want to create a proposal for customer using this presentation. And we also say you make it look like this Word document that we also provided as a reference. So it's a complex prompt, but let's see what happens. And I tell you one thing, it was really cool. So here you see, kind of like in ChatGPT, it builds the whole document based on that presentation. Of course, you cannot immediately say whether this is good content or not, but I can tell you it's really good based on this presentation. It does not apply the style from the Word template that we wanted it to pick up. So this is just the basic Word default file, although we told Copilot to use the other one. But the content and the way it structures it from the presentation is very impressive. And so we have to wait a little bit. But the cool thing is you don't only have a busy indicator, but you see how your document is building up. So I think it's quite a satisfying feeling to look at all the work that is done for you in seconds while you just look and do a little bit of proofreading. So let's wait a bit longer. By the way, you see sometimes German wording. So we are an international company, so people in different languages used it. We always used English prompts, which is the best for the time being, but that's why you sometimes see some German user interfaces on, I think, some other languages as well. But it doesn't matter because everything we tried was based on English prompting. So here that's also interesting. So we're getting a reference table based on a website about Copilot and based on that brochure. So it's really cool what it does for us. And I would say that's an amazing starting point when you have to create Word. I mean, if you know that use case, if you have to create documents based on an existing presentation, for example, then you will love that feature. So now it asks you whether you want to keep that or not. And yet we say, yeah, we want to keep that text. And there we go. So that was pretty cool. Let's move on with the next one. So we thought, okay, that's working nicely. It didn't pick up the styles from the other document, but maybe we can help it a little bit and ask Copilot very specifically to format a document using the styles from our corporate design. So what you see here, again, just another Word document. So we created a Word document, where we had some rules, some brand guidelines. So we thought, what if we tell exactly what our brand guidelines are, and now ask Copilot to apply the brand guidelines based in this document to this document here. You see that? We asked that, format the document using the heading and text defined in this Word template, and now we give Copilot the file that we wanted to pick up. And let's see what happens. Working on a response now, looking things, but then it just says you can find the effect feature, which is totally not what we wanted. So you see, it tries to show us a feature that is a standard feature in Word, which is really not solving this problem at all. The effects have nothing to do with font sizes, font styles, and font colors. But yeah, we can just conclude right now, like in PowerPoint, being specific about can you format a document to match my branding is not supported at all. Maybe in the future, but right now will not not help. So let's look at the next one. Ensure a specific corporate wording. So we're not talking corporate design here. So every company has specific terms they want to ensure that it's spelled correctly or that specific words will be used. We at Empower, we always add the registered R to when we talk about the product Empower. That's how we do it, and we want to ensure that. So we thought that could be something where Copilot is really helping us, that whenever it sees Empower, it ensures that there's the corporate R on it. So we tried that in this use case. So again, we are opening up Copilot on the right-hand side, and our prompt goes as follows. So we explicitly say, always write the word Empower with an copyright like this, which is something that ChatGPT would do. And it says, okay, the user was provided information on how to perform this action, but it then says, I don't know a way how to do it. So that's unfortunately not working yet. So again, we try here one more thing, change the word empower into the document like this. So you see, in this video, you show only a short summary. We tried it. In this case, now it tells us use the replace feature, which would not solve entirely the problem, but in this case, it's a good. At least it gives us an idea how to do it. But yeah, it's not working perfectly yet. Although ChatGPT would be able to do that. So let's have the next one, rephrase or shorten a text in a Word document. So that should work properly because that's perfectly working in ChatGPT. So we have a text here. And now we want to rewrite this. So you saw it in the context menu. There's already this rewrite. There we go. So you see the rewriting, the new ways is proposed directly under it. I like that user interface. So that's kind of very intuitive to work with. And then you can decide whether you want to replace it or you want to insert it. You can change the tone of the wording. That's also cool, right? You regenerate it to make it sound more professional or simpler, or all the different variations that are available. So I think that's really nicely done. And then you can either replace the text or insert below if you're not 100% sure. And yeah, there we go. We just said insert below, and that's a cool functionality. Something that we expected based on all that we saw from ChatGPT, but still it's nicely implemented and easy to use. So let's move on to Outlook. Summarize an extensive email thread. I think that's maybe one of the killer features for people in large corporations where there are 20 people on an email thread and everyone is replying, and you just were in a workshop all day long and you have like 30 emails from one long email thread, everybody replying to. So if you know that scenario, you will love this feature because it's directly integrated into Outlook. So you see that here's summary by Copilot. So on every email thread that where multiple people were replying or people were replying to emails, you could always just directly say, please summarize. And then it's going through all the email, like the whole email list, and it's combining the info, and it's really putting together a nice summary of everything that has been said. In this case, it's just a very short conversation, but it actually it explains here, and it uses German because in that case it was a German user. It gives you some context from what it found, and even introduces the people based on their signatures, where they're coming from, etc. So that's really nice, and it is. I would say it's not replacing to read your emails, but it really speeds up sometimes to catch up and to get a good summary of what has been discussed. So that's a really cool feature. Next one, again, same as in Word. I'll write an important email. I want to rephrase it or improve it or shorten it. I don't know. But that's something that, of course, I want to do with Copilot. So we draft with Copilot. You see directly here, I can say, okay, so I have a long text. I created a text. I actually write an email, that means, and I want to make it sound more advertising-like and more promotional. So again, that's what we all know from ChatGPT. It's kind of rephrasing my text. It could also improve, shorten, or spell check it. And again, that's the waiting time. Sometimes it takes a bit, but it will eventually come. So again, there was no speeding, no cutting in this video. It's just one-to-one the experience we had, just that you get the same feeling. But here we go. And I think we will be soon done, I guess. There we go. Okay, so you see it's structuring the email directly. It's also with a dear person, so it's kind of making it really like a proper email, which I like a lot. It gives structure with paragraphs. So of course, if you read through and we will do that with ChatGPT, you will be amazed. It's really good. Very nicely. So I would say, there we go. Let's keep that, and then we can send that to whoever we want to. Similar use case, I want to draft an email with information from like a website. Again, ChatGPT use case, right? So I want to catch some information and put that into an email. So let's see how that goes. I create a new email. In that new email, I go to Copilot and I say I want to draft with Copilot. And here I make a prompt and say draft a new mail. Right, that's how I talk with him, with Copilot, describing the content from the Wikipedia website of Microsoft Copilot. So, and then now it gets that specific information, that source, so I can control the source by doing that. And there we go. I have a good starting point for an overview about what is Copilot. So that's cool. So for all this kind of research, you will love it. You can also then say, I'm not only wanting to create new emails, I want to reply to an email. And sometimes that's also very helpful, that it kind of helps you to generate a quick reply. So if I hit on reply and then again, always go to Copilot, draft with Copilot, and it now, creates a draft. It responds to my, it responds to the email and it actually takes that context and with the input that I asked it to quickly create a message. I mean, here this test, we immediately send it, but of course you would always, it's a starting point. You always have to read through what happened. You must do that, right? You never should rely without checking it. And quite often, my experience was I use it as a starting point, then make some changes or add another paragraph at the end, that it still sounds like me. And then I would send it. So, last but not least, we wanted to have a look at what Copilot does in Teams. And we all use Teams probably these days a lot. And of course, there are also some really cool use cases. One of my favorites is summarize a chat conversation. It could also be a channel conversation, right? Because sometimes you have been in a meeting and many threads were there. So I can, for example, say highlights from the past day, or I just said here, summarize this chat. So I can just get a quick summary and it will use the chat bar on the right hand side, as you can see here, and it will now give me a summary of what has been written in those many chats over the last day or the last hours. And of course I can then use again as a Copilot again to say I might want to shorten that, so I might want to even reduce the summary. In that case it's quite an extensive summary. But of course, there was a lot of text and a lot of chat posts, so that helps me to, let's say, quickly catch up. And I really like these things, and I think it's a great assistant to my work. At the end of the day, we have to be realistic. It's not, I still should read the full mails. I should read the full chats and text messages, because we can't just rely on only reading summaries at the end of the day, right? I mean, there is more to it than just a summary, but it's really in all these cases where you have to quickly catch up, you have no time for full preparation, or you just want to see whether it's really relevant for you. If you are not the key person in a discussion, then I think it's a really cool functionality. So here it's still generating. So you see there was more text to come and now it has been added. So it's still quite a long summary, but let's not complain. That was really helpful. All right. So next one is we tried something, and of course the text things worked nicely, but we wanted to see whether we can create a presentation out of a team summary. So that's what we thought could be cool. In this case, we have this long summary, say, okay, please create a presentation in PowerPoint based on the summary. And where you see that typing here, and we thought that would be a cool idea sometimes. If you summarize maybe from the last client discussion for the next meeting, or you send meeting minutes in the form of a presentation. So we're waiting for the response, but it says, I'm sorry, but I'm not capable of creating a presentation. I'm a chatbot with my capabilities are limited to extracting insights and answering user requests or based on chat data. So that's cool. I like that response because it explains to me what I can expect from Copilot right now and what not. And here it's very clear that he will not be able, he or she, I'm sorry, to to create a presentation from within Teams. Okay, so, but what about replying to a chat message? Similar to Outlook, we can do that. So you see the little Copilot here, the Copilot's button in the top right. And I can say, okay, again, we have this long email thread. This chat is about the climate change. And now write an answer in which you identify the main challenges. And here again, Copilot, which I think is cool, first gives me the suggested answer on the right-hand side so that I don't accidentally send it, but I can really read it and then make a decision whether I want to copy that text and reply that in the chat window. So we have to wait a little bit, again, on purpose in this video, that you get a feeling for the speed of it. So we have to wait until it builds up the answer. Yeah, basic challenges. Let me wait for a second. And yeah, we have all right. So now we copy paste it. So that this could be easily added, by the way, that we should have a copy button, but now we've done it manually, and then we'll add it and just copy paste it. There we go. So that's again kind of not a very surprising use case, but one that works. So we like that. Next one is the and last one for this video. Which is a case that has always been showcased by Microsoft, is, hey, there was a meeting or there was a big discussion in Teams and I missed that maybe and want to extract what tasks do I have based on the outcome that was discussed in that meeting. So let's look at that use case because I found it very helpful as well. And we tested this again. So here was discussion. You don't have to read it, but there were tasks in there. So I asked, which tasks do I have? What do I have to do? And here we go. It explains to me, you have 2 tasks mentioned in the chat, and I have to help Jack with the product video, and I have to continue the year-end review. So again, this works nicely. There was a simple case. We did more extensive cases with more complex meetings. And our finding was, for the English language, it works nicely. For German, not at all. I have to say, for German meetings, summaries and activities are not working yet, and probably for most other languages than English. But in English, it works well, but there's no guarantee. And I really want to stress that. No guarantee that all tasks that were assigned to you in a meeting are really captured by Copilot. So it's again it's kind of your assistant to I write some meeting notes or I want to get a quick overview, but I would never fully rely on these things. And I think you see that, and we have to be aware. And I like that the Copilot is always saying AI generated content may be incorrect, and we always have to keep that in mind. It's not for sure that those are the only 2 tasks that I have. So as long as you keep that in mind, I think summarizing Copilot in Teams, it's a nice helper. It's nice to get a summary, to improve my answers and text. A very similar story in Outlook, and partly in Word. But the overall conclusion, I would say, is if you're expecting Copilot to change the to be revolutionary for your office work right now, I think you would be disappointed because we are not there yet. It's a nice assistant. I mean, it has also a proud price tag, we have to be honest here, but it's a nice assistant if your main work is done in Outlook and Teams. It's really helping you a bit, and sometimes a lot, sometimes a bit, but it's really fun to use. If you think you can use Copilot to really make the creation of presentations easier, I have to disappoint you with the version right now. This will not be the case. So in PowerPoint, I think it's of very limited use. Excel is more interesting if you're a kind of the beginner type of person, then you will like it. If you are the Excel geek, I think you will not use it at all. And yeah, in Word, it's a bit similar to Outlook and Teams. In Word, it can help you rephrasing and make things better. So I think in Word, it's also a useful assistant. So that's my my summary of the whole Copilot experience. Overall, it was lots of fun to test it, and I can tell you, and you can always contact us. We can share many more details. We'll also publish a white paper about it with all the details, with every little prompt we tried and the results. But this video should just give you a cool overview how it feels, what works nicely, what didn't work nicely, and what to expect probably in the next few months and years. So thank you very much for watching, and stay tuned. Bye bye.